Hello, Com 561. My name is Elizabeth Copeland, and I am going to present my discussion board number 8 around Howard Giles's communication accommodation theory. And as y'all know, we were posed with two questions. We were supposed to think about two groups in which we belong and how our membership in these groups influence our communication behaviors, and what likely motivates us to communicate in ways to support that group identity. So the first group I belong to is the professional community, specifically in my role as an employee development coordinator. In this capacity, my communication is often formal and focused on growth and development. For instance, when I'm discussing training programs or performance involvement plans, I might use terminology like competency frameworks or continuous professional development. This professional language not only demonstrates my expertise, but it also reinforces my identity as a dedicated development coordinator. My membership in this professional community influences my communication behavior in several ways. Firstly, it motivates me to use precise and credible language to establish my expertise and credibility. It's so crucial for gaining trust of colleagues and stakeholders. Secondly, it fosters a sense of belonging, as using industry-specific terminology to help me connect with others who share similar professional goals. Lastly, adapting my communication style to align with the professional norms, it supports my career advancement by developing my commitment to professional standards and continuous improvement. So as you see on the screen, I have a little screenshot of the company that I work for. That is me and a gentleman who are typically chosen to be in social media posts or print material or marketing material. And we've been told it's because the way we handle ourselves professionally in our community. So that was another reason why I chose professional community. So the second group I'm a part of, I think we all can relate to, is the sports team community. Specifically, as a diehard Alabama Crimson Tide football fan, in this community, my communication is filled with team terminology and passionate expressions. For example, I might use the phrase roll tide, roll, or discuss the importance of those defense strategies and touchdowns. This specialized language not only shows my loyalty to the Tide, but it also reinforces my identity as a designated fan. So, how does that influence my communication behavior? Well, being part of the Alabama Crimson Tide family community, it influences my communication behavior in several ways. Firstly, I can be known as one of those obnoxious fans, but it also enhances team cohesion. As using common team terminology, it helps me bond with all my fellow fans. Secondly, those nonverbal signals, such as wearing those team colors, that crimson and white, cheering loudly, roll tide roll, and high-fiving other fans during those games, play such a significant role in expressing my support and enthusiasm for the Tide. Lastly, my communication behavior is influenced by the team's performance. Aren't we all in kind of, hey, let's win this game? After a big win, my interactions are filled with excitement and pride. After a loss, though, they may be a little bit more subdued, and I may be a little butthurt. So the second part and the second question that we were posed with was those exceptions to the general rule. So communication accommodation theory claims that as a general rule, people respond positively to convergence and negatively to divergence. So can we think of exceptions to that rule, and when might convergence produce negative outcomes and when might divergence produce positive ones? So those negative outcomes of convergence is if convergence is perceived as forced or insincere, it can lead to distrust and discomfort. For an example, what if someone adopts an accent or a slang that feels kind of unnatural? It might be seen as mocking or patronizing. Loss of authenticity. Overconvergence can lead to the loss of one's authentic self. It may make someone change their communication styles just to fit with other groups. That may make them feel disconnected from their true identity. And then cultural appropriation. In some cases, convergence can be seen as cultural appropriation. We're adopting elements of another culture without even understanding or respecting the significance. It can lead to negative reactions. So let's get out of the negative and go to the positive. So some of the positive outcomes of divergence is the assertion of identity. So divergence can be so powerful in a way for someone to assert their identity. Like, for example, someone might choose to maintain their native language or dialect in a multicultural setting to preserve that cultural heritage. Now, respect for boundaries. Divergence can show respect for boundaries and differences. For example, maintaining a communication style in a professional setting. Even if others are more casual, it can still demonstrate respect for that organization's norms. And lastly, encouraging diversity. It can encourage and promote diversity by highlighting those different perspectives and ways of communicating. It can enrich those interactions and lead to a more innovative and creative outcome. So I wanted to include this picture here to better understand the negative outcomes of convergence. I wanted to share this picture. This is my husband, myself, my daughter, and my son-in-law. So this is totally candid, but one of those negative outcomes of convergence is my daughter has been a lifelong Alabama fan, and then she meets her fiance and gets married, and now she's a huge Texas fan. And you see, when you join a family and you've got your own group, that's her new sports team. So we joke with her and say that's a perceived betrayal because you're no longer an Alabama fan. However, the positive outcome of that divergence is she maintains authenticity. She does pull for Alabama when they don't play Texas, and she does let my grandchildren wear an Alabama cheerleader outfit when their dad is not around. So, lastly, what motivates me to communicate in ways that support my group's identity is primarily just my desire for belonging and acceptance. By adapting my communication style to match norms of these groups, I strengthen my connection with my fellow members and reinforce my identity within the group. This alignment not only enhances that group cohesion, but it also boosts my confidence. So in conclusion, communication accommodation theory provides valuable insights into how our group memberships shape our communication behaviors. Whether it's professional jargon, team terminology, our communication is deeply influenced by our desire to belong, be accepted, and advance within our groups. Thanks for watching Com 561. Roll Tide.